Hey everyone, it's time for the second episode of the Cheapest Podcast starring me, Max, with
Madison.
And Fonzie, otherwise known as Justin.
Yeah, because we kept saying Justin in the first episode.
Yeah.
So your handle didn't really work out so well. Anyway, yeah, he's the Fonzie. So what we're going to talk about today is, of course, our top 10, the new songs that came on the charts with some rules involving how the album bombs are going to work, because it was Taylor Swift week. Then we talk about some movie news, and then we watched My Neighbor Totoro. First, before all that, how you guys doing?
Same old, same old.
Well, they don't know you yet. We didn't do this last episode, so we just kind of rushed into it. Tell us about yourself.
Man, I don't know. I just, I come here and then I go to work during the week like any other person who has a job, I guess. I just try to make it through the week.
I'm not gonna lie, that was terrible.
Well, I mean,
he's like,
I'm just a man. I pay my taxes one leg at a time. Okay, Madison.
Yes.
Say something. Okay,
she's just a lady. She puts on her taxes one leg at a time, and she pays her pants.
How many minutes are we in?
Anyway, ignoring.
We're
not resetting the podcast.
We're cutting all of this out.
No, it might be some character building.
Keep it in.
They don't know us yet.
We'll fix it in pre.
Okay, so moving on to our top 10. It is a Taylor Swift week. 8 of the 10 songs are Taylor Swift. So number 10, we got Suburban Legends, Taylor's version. Number 9, Style, Taylor's version. Number 8, Snooze by SZA. Bad Blood, Taylor's version, with the remix with Kendrick Lamar. Since we're not talking about this song, Kendrick Lamar actually went back and re-recorded his verse as well for the Taylor's re-release, which, cool for him, because it's a shitty pop song. He did not need to come back for it, but cool for him. Then we have Cruel Summer from Taylor Swift. It's probably going to number 1 again next week. Then we have Say Don't Go. This is from The Vault, Taylor's version. Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat. Slut, Taylor's version from The Vault. Now We Don't Talk, Taylor's version from The Vault. And number 1 Is It Over Now, Taylor's version from The Vault. How are we feeling about all this Taylor?
Well, I feel like most of it should have stayed in the goddamn vault.
So mean.
Well, okay, so this is something that we're going to be talking about this episode. So that is our top 10. It's time for our big gainers of the week. We got nothing because all this Taylor Swift. However, we do have some re-entries. Starting off, we got Thriller by Michael Jackson, coming back at 21 because Halloween. Wildest Dreams by Taylor Swift, Taylor's version, comes back at 19, one of her most popular songs from that album. Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett is back at 38. Then we have This Love, Taylor's version, back at 42. We got Ghostbusters back at 45. And that's pretty much it for the re-entries. Do you guys like the Halloween music?
Certain songs, yeah. One of the most popular Halloween songs that gets played during that time of year is This Is Halloween.
Well, you're skipping ahead,
But
that's a new entry. That song is never charted before now.
Really?
Yes. That's why we're going to be talking about it, which is crazy to think about. In terms of our big losers, almost every single song had a big loss this week. So I don't really find it particularly reasonable to mention them all. We are good. It's time to go to our new entries. Like last time, we scientifically ranked these songs by our preference.
We did not just listen to it one time and then go off of our immediate judgment.
I'm not okay. Listen. I'm not listening to "Take Your Bitch" more than once.
I'm not either.
The worst reviewed song by us collectively is "Mr. Take Your Bitch" by Little Mabu and Blueface's ex.
It's absolutely terrible.
I did not have fun listening to it.
I'm concerned about the children involved. They're bragging about like being with. What did she say? She was like, "I only date men with guns," or something.
Yeah. She likes little white boys with guns now.
No, thank you.
I hate Little Mabu. If you guys hadn't heard his first hit, I say hit with quotes, it's not a hit. Mathematical Disrespect, it might be one of the worst songs of the year. This is slightly less abrasive and annoying. We gave it a collective score of 2.3 out of 10. In second to last place is Slut, Taylor's version. The only songs from Taylor's album that we're going to be talking about are the top 3 songs that peak. In that case, we talk about the most popular songs on its initial release. I actually was the most generous about this song. It doesn't sound like a 1989 song. It sounds more like her more rural routes going into the 2020s, which is why I enjoyed it a bit more than some of the other stuff that's coming up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that you guys were a little too generous for this one.
I disagree.
No. Like the audio mixing on this
agree.
song is so horrendous. Like
It's sloppy.
it's just so bad. It just completely threw me off the entire time that I was listening to it. I was just like, what the hell is this? And that's why, even as I was listening to this, and I saw the title of the video said From the Vault, out loud when I listened to this song, I said, that should have definitely stayed in the damn vault.
Like I said, this doesn't feel like a 1989 song. Especially Madison, the biggest fan in the room.
No, it doesn't.
It feels like something she would have made after. Then we have... This is a slight improvement. Slut had a rating of 5 out of 10. Now That We Don't Talk has a rating of 5.333. I gave it a 5. It is very much a fragment. It is very simple, 2 minutes. I don't really feel any stickiness in there in terms of catchiness or anything. It just felt incredibly average, like something that, like Justin said, should have been left in the vault. It's not. It doesn't. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I like Slut.
It's about Harry Styles.
I know.
This is another one. I mean, I actually felt that this one was just slightly better than Slut. Not too much though.
I just didn't like that beginning part.
Yeah,
where
some of her
voice got like a little too deep.
Her
in some
notes,
areas.
don't match up with like the music in the background. It just sounds off.
And then the final Taylor song is actually in third place for our week at a 5.66. You get it? Is It Over Now, our new number 1 song. It's fine. I don't really find any aspect of it to be too memorable. If it's on the radio, though, I'm not going to be offended. But compared to her hits this year, or even the hits from 1989, like, it's incredibly unmemorable. And there's a reason why I think this was, again, like, not released on the actual album. In comparison to, like, Blank Space or Style or Wildest Dreams. Sure, there was some shit like Shake It Off. That was really bad.
Bop.
No.
Bop. It's a meme song.
No, it doesn't change the fact that it's shit. But this song is fine.
Look, I've listened to so much Taylor Swift today. Everything's kind of blending together. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I know I ranked it the same as Now That We Don't Talk. In my head, it held the same cadence as Now That We Don't Talk.
So our second place song, just really because Justin is a big hater, is World on Fire.
That is crazy. That's our second place song. No, he is so unfair with the ratings. That should not be second.
it's okay.
What do you mean? We gave it the same score. We all gave this song the same exact score.
So this
6,
averaged,
6, 6.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
this averaged as a 6 out of 10. It's very expressive in terms of his emotion. This is actually the highest you guys have rated a country song. Nate.
It's barely country
Nate.
to me.
Yeah, I mean, so when I was watching this one felt a little more rockish, and I'm not a fan of really any country, but you know, this is a middle of the road country rock song, sort of, to me. So I would definitely prefer this over like Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs or, you know, any of those country artists.
I'm not even gonna say anything.
Zach Bryan.
Oh my god, Zach Bryan is more rock than this.
No.
This
No.
is poppy.
No. This was actually an enjoyable experience to me.
Okay. Okay.
So-
Okay, so there are some things that I like that he's a hater on. So it's not just Taylor Swift.
Thoughts and opinions?
Honestly, with this list, it should have been last.
I mean, it's we
Wait,
all
wait,
rated it.
No. It should have
I
been
wasn't
second.
I wasn't-
You
Second
gave it a
place.
6. Look, we all rated this as a 6.
You rated
and
it the same as Slut.
It should have been.
So just from that,
Yeah.
it should be higher than that too.
No, because if they're on the same, this one's lower.
Oh my god. So, we got our number one song. It wasn't even fucking close. It was This Is Halloween from the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack, a song that is 30 years old. Not even like a pop song. It's literally from the movie. It's classic. It matches the tone of the movie perfectly. It's fun. It's not the best Halloween song ever, but great job, America. Halloween staple.
Great job, America.
Come on, it's so good that it's a Halloween staple enough for it to chart on Billboard.
Not the best Halloween. What would
Kudos
go
to
above that?
Thriller.
You think Thriller's better than This Is Halloween?
Yes,
That is crazy.
You would give
atmosphere.
Thriller a 10?
Yes.
Atmosphere's fine, but like
The Vincent Price.
This Is Halloween is
the creeping.
it's pretty much perfect children's
Yes.
horror, like that sound.
Yes.
I'd probably rank Thriller the
So it does
same
its
as
job.
this.
I also think like there are better songs from this movie. To be fair,
True.
Making Christmas, Kidnap the Santa Claus, that have that more twistedness to it. I really enjoy Nightmare Before Christmas because of how wholesome it is. So I'm very happy that this song managed to chart. Hopefully it comes back next year, and the year after that, and the year after that.
And the next day, and the next day. Everything you said regarding this song, don't mind my voice crack there. Everything you said regarding this song, what else can be said besides it's a bop, you know?
It's a pop.
Please. It's 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's 30 years ago,
Yeah, the
and it's still this good.
Yeah, the kids back then were calling this a bop.
What did they say 30 years ago? They watched this and they were like, that song was super trill, daddy yo.
The song is a classic, easily number one. Now the question I have here, do you expect any of this to stay? You know, besides This Is Halloween, because sayonara.
Yeah.
No, it's
Any of
probably not gonna
these-
say.
Any of these songs besides Taylor?
Well, including the 3 songs we talked about. From her.
I think Mr. Take You Bitch can just leave
Well,
straight off.
do you think
That's probably gonna...
Do you think it is gonna leave?
I'm praying on a
I should hope
downfall.
so. World on Fire might have a chance to stay in the top 100, but I think it's definitely going to drop from its current position.
Well, it depends how much of the Taylor stuff's gonna fall, but I do think country radio is gonna love that thing. It's gonna stick around for a while. The number one Taylor song, Is It Over Now, I think is gonna stick for a little bit. It's not gonna be number one because the streaming is already dying off for that.
I don't think that's going to stay at number one. I think one of her other...
I think Cruel Summer is going back next week. I think that's the prediction right now. But in terms of the new songs, the Beatles have their final song, and it's predicted to peak high. Jungkook has his first album. Megan Thee Stallion has her first independent song.
I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on new Beatles music.
Okay, we should have started the show last year that had Metallica, and you would have loved that. Master of Puppets.
Okay.
'Cause of
Because of
Stranger
Stranger
Things.
Things. Yeah.
Yes. Stranger Things, man, with Kate Bush and Metallica. What a banger. It's time for movie news. It's time to pop the champagne. The strikes are over. For now. Woo! Woohoo! Unfortunately, the movie studios didn't waste a single day before revealing that they're just as shitty as they were before. So Warner Brothers, my least favorite company right now in terms of the film business, they just canceled another movie that was already finished, already done, could have been released. Or they have to work on the animation still, or editing, the music. It was done filming. They just canceled Coyote versus ACME, which was a production announced a couple years back, written by James Gunn, starring John Cena, Will Forte. It was about the Coyote trying to sue ACME for selling faulty weapons to him because he keeps getting hurt trying to catch the Roadrunner. So he needs to, it's like a court comedy with the Looney Tunes characters.
Oh, this is hurting me.
So, like, this is a funny idea, but no, Warner Brothers was like, okay, we don't know how to sell this. It's getting great audience scores. Let's just cancel it. We get $30 million in tax credit, despite the fact that the budget was $70 million. I swear, David Zaslav is a douche to the uptilt degree, because he ran Discovery with TLC and all that fucking crap. And what they did with the reality TV, they just filmed a whole bunch of shit. He's like, we can just cancel it, not release it. We can get some tax credits back. He's bringing that stupid fuck policy to movies. But you can't do that with movies, because movies take 10 times the more effort. 10 times the time to make. And essentially you're flushing these people's time and money down the fucking toilet because you want to get another $30 million bonus. Because David Zaslav got paid $39 million last year. So that's not even the entire tax break for this fucking movie. In the previous year, he got paid $208 million. Why the hell is he getting paid that much to cancel movies and fuck over the artists that make the studio? What does he make? The movie studio does not run without the artist. I'm really passionate. Fuck his pig ass.
Oh, goddamn.
I need to calm down. Any thoughts?
Can we take a brief intermission to talk about Better Call Saul?
What?
I just go off on like a 40-minute rant about the final episode of Better Call Saul.
Well, that came out months ago, Madison.
I just watched it a couple days ago, and I'm still like in that depression phase where you just finished like any form of media, like a movie or a TV show.
Did you watch El Camino?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I finished, so it's like over. And Slippin' Jimmy, that AMC Plus cartoon that they put out, sucks ass. I didn't even finish that free episode that they put up on the AMC website. I watched like half of it, and then I was like, no, I'm not paying to see the rest of this because this is so garbage. Rant over.
So seriously, it's just a disgrace. For art, for filmmaking, for the business, it's just scummy, and other studios are also following in their fucking grubby ass footsteps. And you know what's even funnier about this? The previous day, he said HBO Max has plenty of kids content, but we just hadn't cracked it yet. We just hadn't been advertising our kids content. Motherfucker. You said that you can't crack kids' content, and you're going to say, we can't release it. You just complained yesterday about not being able to capture the kids, so I don't really get it. So thank you. You got me real mad.
It's pretty one note when it comes to like big business guys. They kind of just act all the same. You know, very predictable moves.
The
very
strike.
Predictable,
The strike just ended yesterday. And they should be like, oh, we're kind of walking on some thin ice. No, he's like, ha ha ha, we can reveal this shit.
Is there any way, now that it's canceled, to even view that movie?
No.
At all?
No.
So
it's in the vault forever.
So it's just like gone.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yep.
It's so fucked
Unless
up
they choose
to leak it. And then
they should definitely start doing that with all these movies.
But then they could get sued.
I don't care.
Even though you're not doing anything.
Be
with
sneaky.
it. Like all you're doing is just I'm just sitting on it. None of you will ever get to see it. Like Batgirl, they were like, oh, this movie's shit, so we just don't want to release it. There is no excuse with this. Because apparently it's a good movie. It was a funny concept that made you guys laugh just for me explaining it. I'm a loss for words. Anyway, we watched a movie this week.
On to Totoro.
It was very nearly Earwig and the Witch.
No, not again.
It's gonna get picked someday. Anyway, my neighbor Totoro.
For me personally, I would say it's like a 7 out of 10. Not out of the Studio Ghibli movies that we have watched so far, it is definitely at the bottom of the list for me. Anyone who's listening, we've watched 3 of the Studio Ghibli movies so far, that being Spirited Away, Ponyo, and now Totoro. I think Spirited Away was my favorite and Ponyo's in the middle. Details about the movies.
Well, I will say my impression going in, because I had heard of the movie years prior, but I had never actually seen it until when we watched it. I expected it to be kind of like those kids' movies where they come upon like a magical creature and then that's their friend. I was not expecting a gigantic cod zombie sounding monster that sleeps all the time. He sounds fucking terrifying.
Bro.
And it was way away from what I was imagining.
What were you imagining?
There's something cuter. He looks
He's
cute.
he's
He looks
adorable.
so cute. I'm not saying that he isn't. He still looks cute. But his voice makes him sound like a fucking dinosaur.
Well, you know how big he is?
He is big.
He's a chunky boy.
But why can't he be cute sounding?
It is cute sounding.
Elephants sound
Well,
cute.
come on.
Why? Just go off of that.
I mean, what is not cute about roll, roll, roll?
It was adorable. Anyway, my rating for the movie is actually also a 7 out of 10. It's a very cute slice of life movie, and it's going to be very fun to talk about. Now, Madison.
Your rating?
I'll give it a 6.5.
Okay. The movie is about this family. They move into a new, not great house in the farmlands, and a single father with his 2 young daughters, and his wife and their mother is in a hospital. She is very sick.
Yeah.
And most of the movie is just slice of life adventures as these little girls get used to this new environment, as well as the mystical spirits that are among these lands and in their imagination.
Just a note, they never tell you why the mom is in the hospital. They don't like explicitly say what she's got going on.
Yeah, it's because I feel like it's definitely from a child perspective. Because we really only see things most of the time, very rare exceptions, outside of the children's perspective. So they wouldn't understand what she has or what's her problem. maybe Satsuki
Satsuki.
is the older one, but she's 10 years old. So I'm assuming that she wouldn't really know that much either. They really captured the annoying, energetic, fun-lovingness of children more than even Ponyo did, because as soon as the movie starts, these little girls...
Yeah, I will say that May, which is the younger daughter, she's 4 years old.
Yes.
May was starting to get on my nerves in some scenes, I'll say that
much. I think that's very accurate, though. Granted, when we watched Ponyo, those characters were 5 years old, and there was never a point where those characters were annoying. But they were also very...
Ponyo got annoying.
Ham! It's ham!
Mostly just like the yelling parts. That's the only part. Like anything they do is like really cute, but then they start like screaming, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
Aren't children like that
accurate to life?
They are, but I'm saying there's a little bit of like suspended disbelief, maybe. Like we can have the cute kids without screaming.
When the movie opens, you've got the dad and the two girls driving into town to get set up at their house. The girls are hiding in the back of the car. Well, I think they're actually on a truck, right?
Yeah, they're moving.
They're in a truck, and all the luggage is stacked up, but it's kind of stacked around the two girls so they can hide. And I'm assuming that they're hiding back there because it would be illegal.
Yeah, the 80s didn't give a fuck. You ever see an 80s car seat back then?
Well, I mean, when they're driving through town and they see the man on the bicycle, they think that he's a police officer, so they hide back in.
No, I don't think that was an illegal thing. They're just being kids, I think. Because these kids are very energetic. They were running all over the place in the first thing. They get to the house and they immediately just start sprinting towards the house, start breaking it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They enter the back room. They see a bunch of dark, shifting things, and they just start screaming at it.
So that's one of the first things that I took note of was the soot sprites that they encounter in the bathroom. Because their dad is just telling them to go explore.
Didn't really do anything for the movie as a whole.
Well, it's more of like the imagination.
And it's just like introducing you to the spirits that live in the world. But I did find it interesting that the soot sprites appear in this and also Spirited Away.
Yeah, I feel like Ponyo and Spirited Away did a better job with like the imaginative creatures, because in this one we just got the soot sprites that were in Spirited Away. Whatever fucking Totoro was.
Oh my god.
I'll have to disagree with you.
Oh my god.
Yes, there was.
I'll have to.
There wasn't that many.
I'll have to. I mean,
that's not the point.
There weren't as many as the
what
other
do you
movies.
mean?
There weren't as
what do
many
you
as
mean
the.
That's not the point. That's clearly.
You're not counting how many magical creatures there are. Clearly, the movie was.
The point is, it wasn't as imaginative as the other ones. It didn't. It didn't do a lot of world building.
Well, also, like, not every movie needs to be Spirited Away in terms of imagination. Clearly, this movie has a set goal.
Ponyo was my favorite one out of all of them.
That movie was insane.
I just didn't not to dwell on the monsters.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I came here for the magical creatures, not the little girls.
I did. I came here for the world building, and I was disappointed because there was the soot sprites that came from a different movie, and then there was Totoro, then there was blue Totoro and white Totoro.
Well, first off, this movie came out 20 years before Spirited Away. Second off,
disappointing.
Oh my god.
Disappointing world building.
Second off, just because you forgot the cat bus.
Oh god, that doesn't count as a creature.
Yes, it does.
That is a vehicle.
Yes, it has eyes.
It's got 8 legs.
That is a vehicle.
It has emotions.
So, I mean, the soot sprites are like the first introduction of spirits in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have marked down here that the father, in order to basically make his children do chores in a quotations here fun way, says that he is unable to find the stairs to the attic and tells them to go find the stairs, so that they can
clear it out so they can put all their stuff up there.
Yeah. And I'm like, there is no way that he looked all over this house for these stairs.
No.
He is just making up a game.
He was literally
so
just moving stuff for the past hour while they were running. Like, you know how annoying that is? Like, I don't care if they're like little girls. Hey, pick up some stuff with us, please.
It's just like, hey, I couldn't find these stairs. You kids, you should go look for them. It'll be fun. So they're like, okay.
I do think that the monsters could be imaginary, like the kids' whimsy, and them just because the scene when they actually get to the basement, we see all the suit sprites, and we see the little girl May catches one, and when she goes back down, it's just her hands are.
Oh yeah, she killed it.
Well, you could say that, but you could also say that her hands are it's very dirty up there.
So, I mean, the next character that's introduced at that point is one that they just call Granny, which, side note, little odd that you just want random strangers' kids to call you Granny, but maybe that's part of the culture out there, I'm not sure. But Granny says that she used to see the soot sprites too when she was a little girl. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if that's her just playing to their imagination,
I do think so. Especially what happens later in the movie, man.
But if the soot sprites are fake, how are they both seeing them?
Because they're children. They have that spark.
Okay, how are they both seeing them? But then also, they're being labored in a factory.
What?
In Spirited Away.
Oh my god. It's not the same thing.
How is it not the same thing?
Okay, in that movie, Boiler Man created them from a spell in order for him not to do the coal work.
Okay, so they came first in that movie. Spirited Away
came out in 2001. It doesn't take place. It's not in the same world. It's not in the same world. It's made by the same director.
They're the same thing.
It's not. Stop. You didn't even watch the whole movie.
I watched enough to know the lore of the soot sprites.
You didn't even know he created them. The Boiler Man.
I knew he created them. He created them and then he enslaved them.
Yes.
He's an asshole.
But if they don't work for him, they die. So you might as well put them to work.
Oh, so it's the butter machine from Rick and Morty.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
And there's the first Rick and Morty reference on this podcast.
And that will probably be the last.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Oh, god, stop.
Stop it.
So after Granny is introduced, I guess they kind of get situated in the house. The girls are kind of like helping Granny with whatever she kind of needs.
Because she cleaned the house somewhat before they came, and they also like worked the farms. It's a different like type of working environment there, so they can help when they can. Father is a university teacher.
I forget. Are they in they're either in a shed or we're over at the Granny's house or something. But this little boy comes by because
they're still at the house.
They're still at the house. Okay.
Because he comes over to bring them something. I forget. Bring Granny something, and he sees this girl his age. He's like, "Oh my god, girl!"
Oh yeah. So this boy's name is Kanta, and so I have in my notes here. I wrote down Kanta is a little bitch boy, and the reason
he immediately is like
he just immediately has the worst attitude towards Satsuki, sticking his tongue out at her. As he's cowardly running away from her, he calls back to her and says, "Your house is haunted!" And then he runs off into the distance.
That would be a kid thing to do, to be honest, though. Come on. Like a little shit kid. That's why I say this movie is very accurate when it comes to children. Because not only are they annoying, they're also little shits. Because May is really a handful.
Yeah.
We'll get to it a little bit later. But first, they're adjusting to the new home. And
Yeah.
there was a moment that caused us all to go, mm. Because there's a scene of them all taking a bath, and I'm like,
Bath scene, huh? Dad unhinged.
I will say that I was shocked at first, but then the way the scene went when he's just like trying to make them feel comfortable, and because there was like an earthquake or some wind or something.
I thought it was wasn't it a storm?
Yes.
Okay,
So
yeah.
so they were scared, so he played with them. It was like, I feel like that scene ended wholesomely. But like, I did not need to see.
That's why I wrote that he was unhinged,
That's
because
what I was
he's just
talking
like
about.
they're all just like chilling in the tub.
Well, there's a 4-year-old.
Cultural
I guess.
differences. This
cultural-
is probably a very normal thing to occur in Japan.
It was a different time.
A different
80s.
40 years ago. But I wrote that he's unhinged because he's like, if you're feeling scared that there's something out there, you just gotta yell at it and make yourself sound bigger.
Oh yeah, that's why they were unhinged in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so he's-
Literally, the first thing they do when entering that back dark room is just scream at the top of their lungs. I
Yeah.
was like, oh no, these little kids.
Like, shut the fuck.
So in order to drown out the storm, the dad just starts going while he's in the bath, and it was just kind of funny.
The next day, they go to the hospital to check on their mom. I think this is a very wholesome, heartfelt subplot for the movie.
Yeah, they're excited for her to start feeling better and to come home to see the house and everything. And I think this is when they tell her that their house might be haunted, right? The first visit. Not too much that really happens in that scene, just kind of a wholesome
just
family hospital visit.
Just introducing that subplot.
Yeah.
I do have to say, the next scene is school. I would love if we started school in the afternoon and shit. Wouldn't that be a great thing for productivity? But no, we have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning to get hitched on a bus, and we're tired at school. I will also say that this 10-year-old is pretty responsible.
She cooks breakfast for everybody.
Yeah, and then cooks her own lunch as
and
well. And
cooks lunch for everybody too.
And walks to the new school.
Luckily, it's only like right down the street, and she's walking with her new friend. But this leaves her 4-year-old sister May home alone with Dad for the day, and Dad is a very, very busy man. And he's pretty much just in the study writing the entire day.
This is another really accurate kid scene because she's just goofing, and luckily this is another point where Madison can experience some magic.
What do you mean?
So what I like that's very kind of accurate to children is that it's maybe been a half hour since they all sat down for breakfast, and May is outside playing for the last 15 minutes, and she calls into her dad and she's like, "Is it lunchtime yet?" He's like, "You just ate breakfast."
Come
I
on,
relate
kid.
to that.
The second bit of magical spirits, I believe it is the mini white creature that is walking around, and she sees it. She just starts booking it for this thing, and eventually, after trying to play with it and chase it around, she goes into the forest, into this little hole, eventually landing near Totoro, and we get introduced to him, and it's really adorable. I know you guys were intimidated by his growling bass, but adorable little guy, big guy.
He was just a little sleepy.
Really doesn't want to do much besides sleep. He's essentially
he does want to do
His
stuff
ass
later
in
on.
No, because in the one scene he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just have the cat bus drive you there," and then he was like, "See ya, I'm going back to sleeping."
yeah.
Fun fact, Totoro, how I figured out about him was watching Toy Story 3, because he's a toy in that movie.
Really?
Is he?
As an Easter egg.
I've never noticed that.
Because John Lasseter loves Studio Ghibli and did some of the dubs for them. But then she's found sleeping in the woods. They goof off together after Satsuki comes home.
She's like, "Where's May?" And then the dad, who's been working all day and not paying attention to his 4-year-old toddler daughter, is like,
Extremely common father L.
She was like, she was right here like 2 minutes ago.
Nothing's more common in a Miyazaki movie than bad parenting.
So, I mean, they have to go find May. They find her in the entrance to the forest, kind of like at the halfway point, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just napping in the dirt. And then she's confused because she doesn't know where Totoro is. And it's at this point that when she mentions the name Totoro, they think that she's talking about trolls that come from folk tales that they have. Eventually, they go down the road and they come to the giant camphor tree, which they had noticed towards the beginning of the movie. May says that it's the camphor tree that Totoro's hideout is in.
Mm-hmm.
Dad says that the tree is a very important symbol, should be honored. So basically, I mean, they're just worshipping a really giant, beautiful tree.
The next day.
They kind of cut to the next day. And Satsuki's at school again.
Oh, this poor girl. I felt so much secondhand embarrassment because this 4-year-old little girl is like, I don't want to stay with grandma because, the dad is going to work. She doesn't know this random stranger. So Satsuki has to have her in school with her. I guess if this happened if I was in school, the secondhand embarrassment would have killed me. It would have been so awful, especially since she's screaming in class, which, fun, but then it starts to rain right after that, and we get some Kanta character development, because he sees her without an umbrella. They're staying under a structure to stay dry, and he can't talk to women apparently because he tries to give them the umbrella.
Sounds like he's fucking constipated.
Yeah, so right there, that's when I wrote down that Kanta is still acting like a little bitch boy.
And he runs like he's so flustered by, oh my god, she's really cute, and then he just runs away back to his house in the rain. I do find it funny though when they get home, right? They want to return the umbrella. The mother's scolding him for being careless and leaving it at school during the rain, and
she punches him in the head.
Yeah, that's what parents do.
It's aggressive. Sit, dumbass.
So the one part that kind of made me laugh in that scene, when after they return his umbrella, the mom's like, oh, it's okay if he like walked home in the rain or whatever. Kanta's a very dirty kid. I'm like, yo, you just say that about your son.
That's why your son acts like a little shit.
That was very cute. So they're waiting for their dad to come home from the train, and we get the most adorable scene in the movie with Totoro. Yes. So they're waiting and waiting, and Mei's sleeping on Satsuki's shoulders, and then Totoro is there with a leaf on his head, acting as his umbrella. So they offer to give the dad's umbrella to Totoro, and he has a lot of fun with the raindrops landing on the umbrella.
Yeah, it startles him at first, and then he realizes what's happening, and he's like, oh, that's kind of fun.
Jumps 20 feet in the air.
He creates an earthquake so that all these rain droplets fall off of the trees and land on his umbrella.
So we see a bus come, and it's not the dad's bus, it's a cat bus. And Totoro gets on and steals the umbrella, but he pays them in acorns.
The cat bus definitely gave me Cheshire Cat vibes.
I see it.
Yeah.
I love the design of that cat bus with like doorway opening up and closing.
I don't like the door, actually.
The door was kind of weird.
I had that in my notes. Totoro slides into the bus like a slug. The cat bus envelops him. into itself.
They get home with the dad because he finally comes home. They write the letter explaining what's happening to the mom. And essentially, they plant the acorns in the garden. And the next night, Totoro is trying to make the trees grow by a ritual. And the little girls are excited, so they go out too. And this is also a very charming scene. They start doing the ritual, and big trees start to sprout from the ground. And Totoro uses a top and the umbrella to carry himself, the creatures, and the girls, which...
basically basically kidnaps these two girls for maybe like 10 minutes.
But the way they like grip on him and hug him is really cute. And then they fly with the umbrella on the top of the trees. It's a very imaginative, beautiful animation. But my theory about it's all fake, imaginary, is that the next day the trees are gone, they're inside, but there are little sprouts.
The thing that was kind of funny to me is after they go on their little flying adventure on Totoro's magical flying top.
If you say it like that, like it's ridiculous.
They're sitting up in the top of the tree and they're playing their instruments, and the dad looks out the window when he hears the instruments, but he doesn't think anything of it. He just kind of like smiles and goes back to his late night work.
It's implied to be both. It's whatever you want to take of it. But here comes what I would like to say is the conflict. They have to have some sort of conflict. It can't just all be uppy-dory, slice of life. The next day, the little girls are doing their own thing. May with grandma, Satsuki at school. There's a telegram that comes. Dad's obviously away. So they're trying to reach the dad because it's something about their mom at the hospital. And May, trying to follow Satsuki, but she's 4 years old, gets lost. So the big problem is we need to find May. Satsuki tries everything, eventually going to Totoro, who's just trying to take a nap. She wakes him up, begs for help. He gets the cat bus. He's like, I have a solution for you. Gets the cat bus. The cat bus flies her over to May.
I just want to interject with a few things that happen along that journey. May and Granny are like picking Granny's vegetable from her vegetable garden, and May says that the corn that she picked, she's gonna give to her mom to help her to get better, so that she can come home from the hospital permanently.
Starch.
And then while Satsuki is running around trying to find May, she literally jumps in front of someone's motorcycle, like, to stop them and ask them if they've seen her sister.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
This dude comes like half an inch from hitting her with his motorcycle. And then immediately after that, Kanta is riding over to Satsuki on a bicycle that is way too big for him. He looks so goofy riding this bicycle. Like...
Yeah, well, if you don't... Okay, I'm imagining, right, they don't have that much. So the bicycle made for the adults.
Then they say that there's a flip-flop or a sandal that was found in the river nearby.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That does sound pretty dark.
Yeah, there's a pink sandal that they found in the river, and they believe that it's May's. So Satsuki, even though she just ran like 7 miles all around town trying to find her sister, runs probably another 4 miles back to where they found this sandal, just to check to see if it's actually May's. They find that it's not hers, but then that still leaves the question of where the hell is she?
Oh my god, it's not hers. It's another dead 4-year-old.
But they did have basically like the whole town out searching for her. And then of course, when she asks Totoro to help, Totoro gets the cat bus, like you said, which nobody else can see at all, because this thing just is hustling through the valley, blows right past 2 people in between them while they're having a conversation.
Yeah, Granny and Kanta.
You telling me that like a 300-pound raccoon-looking thing doesn't actually exist?
And the cat bus gets there and opens up for Satsuki, and then Totoro stays behind. He's just like, yeah, I would go with, but I got some Z's that I got to catch up on back in the forest.
He helped.
So he's like, you can just take my whip and go find her yourself.
I got you far enough. Go figure it out.
Take my wheels and go find her.
Take my legs.
The cat bus, interestingly enough, has an actual destination setting that just says May on it.
Yeah, it's adorable.
It'll take it because it's a spirit, so it knows exactly where May is. So she finds her, picks her up in the cat bus, and
they're talking about the mom.
Yeah,
and the cat
because she
bus
said
is like,
she was going to take the corn that she picked to their mom, and so the cat bus is like, oh, all right, we going to the hospital then.
what a nice guy.
And then he gives them a very, very Cheshire cat grin when he switches it to the hospital. So they get in and they head off to the hospital where the dad and the mom are sitting there having a conversation. The dad got to the hospital and the mom's like, I don't know why the hospital told you there was something wrong. I'm fine. I just kind of have a cold. That's kind of it. So basically the hospital just like pulled a major troll face.
And when you're a little kid, you hear something like that, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, Satsuki with the, what if she's already dead?
She's like crying so much in that last 30 minutes.
That was supposed to be like a really emotional scene.
I feel real bad for that little girl, though.
All I was doing was laughing.
I would be like, she was panicking out of her mind. She's like, my mom could be dead. My little sister could be dead.
Yeah, because nobody's fucking watching these kids.
Well, Granny told May to come back, and that was good enough.
So there's a there's a tree.
4-year-olds gonna listen.
There's a tree right outside of the mom's hospital room, and that's where Satsuki and May are sitting, and the cat bus is also sitting in this tree. And I will say that in all of the scenes that we've seen the cat bus in this movie so far, this is the creepiest that I've ever seen the cat bus at this point, because it's got its 8 legs all wrapped in different contorted positions around this tree.
Well,
it just looks so creepy.
Well, it's a fat ass. How can you expect it to just sit on that tree? It's a bus.
It should have stayed on the ground. Why did it have to go in the tree?
Because it wanted to see the emotional moment.
And I mean, the corn that May had, they end up leaving it on the windowsill right by the mom's bed.
Yeah, this is the one point where you could say, well, how the fuck does that happen?
Yeah, without the mom or the dad seeing them. The mom says she thought that for a second that she saw the 2 girls sitting out in the tree, and then she picks up the corn and she says she believes it's from the girls because carved into the shuck of the corn.
You mean the husk?
You shuck. You
know what? Whatever. Carved into the husk of the corn is the words for mom.
Very intelligent corn conversation we're having.
Yes, I love corn.
We should all have some
urata.
For a Thanksgiving celebration, someone's got to make some corn now.
But yeah, that's
actually the end of the movie.
That's how the movie
Can we
ends.
get to the yams?
Well, that's really how the movie ends. We have the most adorable end credits sequence.
When the movie ended, I was like, oh, that was the ending?
It's a very slice of life
movie. It
movie.
felt like, it did feel like that. It felt like we were just in on one part of these characters' lives.
Yeah, and that's what the movie's intention was.
That's literally a slice.
It's like, she's okay. We don't know if she's actually going to live,
we didn't.
But she's okay for now.
Like I said with Ponyo, if it was just them living their lives, I would have been content. Because these are, as the movie went on, I was getting more used to the little girls. It's just in the beginning of the movie, they were a lot.
They were very abrasive.
But as it goes, especially Satsuki, when she was away from her 4-year-old sister, and seeing her, doing all this, I started to like the characters more and more. They became more charming. Kanta was an enjoyable little guy.
He ended the movie with him being a little shit.
He was helping look for...
You gave him an umbrella.
Yeah. He gave them the telegram. He was trying to help look. He wasn't afraid to talk to them anymore. If push comes to shove, you're gonna get over your stupid crush.
He's saying,
Girl. Ill. Pretty girl, icky.
Take the umbrella.
He just ran away. Like she's like trying to talk to him. He's like, nope. Skedaddle. So I think we all enjoyed Totoro. It wasn't what you expected though, Madison.
No. I expected another Ponyo story.
Where the moon's falling from the sky.
Yeah, I expected a lot more to be going on.
Well, I'm happy that you were wrong.
Damn.
Because this movie is very enjoyable as it is.
I'm glad we didn't watch Earwick and the Worm.
Well,
John Wick and the Worm.
John Wick.
So this brings us to our next recommendation. So before you guys came over, I asked you what movies you guys wanted to watch.
Garfield.
So Madison recommended the Garfield duology starring
Tale of Two Kitties.
Starring Bill Murray. We would watch both of those shitty movies.
Now that you've said something,
that's
the
being
wheel's
very
gonna
harsh.
land on it.
Then we have The Goonies from Justin Fons. That's his suggestion.
I've never seen it.
Classic movie.
I put the Spiderwick Chronicles because I've been really interested to look back at that.
I'm actually I wouldn't be upset if that landed on that.
But I am adding an additional option for a Ghibli movie. So, because we were on our Ghibli kick, we watched 3 Ghibli movies in a row.
Howl's Moving Castle.
So I'm actually going to go in order. And the first movie is Castle in the Sky. So if we land on that, that will be the next movie we watch. We got our 4 options. Let us see.
Oh God.
What it's going to be. Let me see if I can get the audio.
If you guys want to do best 2 out of 3,
Well,
we'll do it that way.
You're not making a decision here.
Go with best 2 out of 3.
Okay. So our first spin.
Oh God, my stomach.
The Spiderwick Chronicles gets 1.
Okay.
The
Goonies gets 1.
Okay.
And we are watching The Goonies.
Oh,
right.
shit. Hell yeah.
That one I'm not too upset with.
So
I've never seen it before.
It's a treasure hunting movie. And it does star an Oscar winner now. Thank you, everyone. Woo! Second episode of the podcast. Hopefully next time I will be a lot less angry.
Yeah, so I guess leaving off with that note, Hollywood execs, big corporate jackasses, stop fucking around, and then we won't have to be so angry.
I'm excited for the Goonies.
You should be.
Hopefully.
It's a good watch.
Well,
We'll see. Because it's been very hyped up, so I'm interested
I'm going to
in
put on
seeing
my
if I'll
sombrero
actually
and
enjoy
say,
it.
we'll see about that. It's been so long since I've seen it, so it should be fun. But goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Adios.
Bye.